The other day I was reporting about Sasha Exeter. She's the one who called out Meghan's old BFF, Jessica. In it, she called Meghan Markle arguably one of the most famous black women in the world. This is a topic I've wanted to talk about for a while. I'm so glad because we got P. Dinah here. Guys, this is going to get good. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and I'm so happy we finally have P. Dinah here. Welcome, P. Dinah. How you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing great. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So now, full disclosure, you were going to be here during our first Royals collab week, and I was so slammed. Oh, and you tried to fit me in. Thank you. We didn't make it happen. I'm so glad we're making it happen now. And welcome. So happy to have you because I'm not in the studio. We were banking this and we were talking before we taped. I'm like, P. Dinah, what do you want to talk about? What's something you're passionate about? And you brought up this issue, which I was like, yes, please, let's talk about this. The race card that Meghan Markle constantly plays. Mm-hmm. You have feelings on it. I want to start here, I suppose, because do you feel like Meghan Markle is the most famous black woman in the world? I felt like that was kind of offensive to black women of the world. I'm like, top 1,000? I don't even think she'd make it. Where would you put her on the list of most famous black women in the world?
I don't even know how you can even be that famous of a black person if you don't even look black. You know, like you don't even look black. So what? How? I don't understand that. But that's the thing within the black culture. You know, there's this one drop rule. And if you have one drop, they consider you black. And she is known as a black woman within the black community. But outside of that, she is not. And I don't know. I just think people that look at her as being black really need to, I don't know, look closer at, how we're defining someone as a black person. I don't think you can come to one consensus on it. It's going to have these different various ways of looking at her being a black person. So,
well, I mean, look, I'm the white guy. I don't know. How do we do that? How do you identify yourself as that? Are you a black person in the black community?
This hair that I got, I would identify myself as being that. But Meghan, she never wears her hair in braids or anything that looks ethnic. So how can she even, I don't know, why would people look at her as really being a black woman if she doesn't really even want to look or hone in on her black features, right?
Well, when did this start in your opinion? Because you've been following this for a while. Obviously, we know Thomas Markle was white. Her mother is black. And it seems, though, that's never, from my knowledge, it didn't seem like her black culture was something that she was really bringing out during Suits and Deal or No Deal. Like, when I saw her, to be perfectly honest, like, I didn't know what race she was. Like, she could have been white, she could have been Italian, she could have been Latin. She's light-skinned, and it's sort of, where do you feel like she started using her race like that at first?
I think she started using it and she came into the royal family and she wanted a way out. She wanted an excuse. She wanted to hone in. Oh, wait a minute. I got a black mama. I'm going to use that as an excuse and start talking about how people are racist. The royals are racist. And, she's never identified really towards her black culture, her black side. Even her mother talked about how she didn't really cultivate Meghan around her black life and as much as her mother has had. So it wasn't something that was available to her, granted through no fault of her own, but even her mother didn't. But I think she really saw an advantage to it when she needed an out. She needed an excuse to get out of the royal family, and she wanted to play up the black side. And I think that's what's so disingenuous about this woman, that you would use the black people and how black people don't even see how she has used the black culture to help manipulate a narrative that's not there. And yet people will still say, yep, they was racist. Those royals is racist. They would up the ante, so to speak, on that, because they don't really, I think a lot of people don't care. They just say it's racist and it's going to be racism. And I don't care if she's even making it up, and they'll just go with it. And that's what I think is so wrong, that she has divided the people, the culture of Black people, by using something that really rightfully, okay, you can say she can use it, but she don't even look Black. She hasn't really even used her own hair that she could make be more ethnic. She's never worn her hair in with ethnic styles to show that I support my Black heritage, you know. But then to go to the Invictus Games and say she's 42% Nigerian and just doing a bunch of shenanigans for the sake of it, it's like she's clearly using, I believe, in my opinion, the Black culture to help her popularity, to help have a narrative around why the royals were mean to her, because she wanted to go in with them not liking her, because she never wanted to be there. And it wasn't something that she owned before going into the royal family. So now seeing her do this looks like she's just taking complete advantage. And a lot of Black people will allow her to do that because we want something that says, yes, that's our Black girl, and forget those racist royals, you know. And it's wrong. And I think it's done so much harm to the good of the royal family and all that they did to accept this woman who was different into the royal family. And now they've got the wrong Black girl, essentially. Harry married the wrong Black girl. He should have married a woman. If she had color, she was more embracing of her own color, and to see how she was accepted rather than to say that they didn't accept me. She's done so much harm. I just can't see why people don't see through it and what it really is. It's really unfortunate. I mean, they'll just sit there all day and just love on that girl and her fakeness, and it's disingenuous to the Black people. Everything.
You brought this up because I wanted to explain it for those who aren't even aware. Most of the audience knows the histories here, but this was recently, at the Invictus Games, and she says it was because she took one of those ancestry DNA tests or whatever and discovered that she had a predominantly, I forget how much percent, certain percent of her, a certain higher, I mean, it was like 40 or something percent, 43, there was 43% Nigerian through the genealogy test a couple of years ago. So it's, again, like, she did this recently, which is interesting. And all this stuff came up, wrong one, here it is, when she spoke to Oprah. When the interview with Oprah, to me, was sort of the big time when the race became an issue. Now, she says in that interview, oh, they were really racist in the headlines. And sure, it does look like there were some racist headlines from some outlets, for sure. That happens, not condoning it, but it wasn't as many as it seems like. But the big problem was she was labeling the royals racist because they were asking questions of wondering what Archie's skin tone would be like. Chris Rock and others have famously now come forward and made jokes and sort of leaned into this. What are your thoughts on that? Was that racist? Was that problematic of the royals to ask that question? Do you even think they asked that question?
Well, first of all, I don't even think that question was ever asked. I think she saw an opportunity to make something out of nothing, because even Chris Rock said even Black people want to know how Black the baby's going to be. Okay, like, people want to know. People are curious about what the baby's going to look like. You know. Right. So why is that considered racist when someone says, I wonder, or what she said, there are questions and concerns about how dark the baby is going to be or whatever. First of all, look at you. You looking like a white woman. You married a white man. What are the chances of you even having a tan baby, let alone a Black baby? Okay. So it's like, once again, made something out of nothing. She knew her baby was not going to come out looking Black, but if she could play on that race, if she could make it seem like the royals racist family, she could hype up the thoughts that a lot of Black people unfortunately have about the royals, and she could play on that to make things more than what they actually are. And you know what? It was nothing racist, to answer your question, nothing at all racist about that comment. Oprah.
Well, I was adding the Oprah GIF for you because
I think was
Oprah's reaction was so big, right? It almost made it bigger, and she was like, "Ooh, yeah, let me use this." Do you feel like she was shocked at it, right?
You know why?
As a
You know
viewer, I'm
why?
like, oh, I guess this was racist. I didn't know. Oprah's telling me it's racist.
Right. Oprah is
Did,
essentially, that's right. She's essentially saying that's racist by her reaction. Okay. But the reality is, people want to know what the baby is going to look like. And I think she embellished the words when she said questions or concerns, because she did not hear Harry say it. Harry told her what was said.
hearsay.
Believe Harry played into it being like, oh, they're concerned about how the baby's going to be maybe black. But I think the question may have come up about, well, that's, curious what the baby might look like. I mean, she's biracial, he's a redhead. I wonder what the baby's going to, there was a question, but it had nothing to do with race. And then I think when he told it, he wanted to embellish it to make it more than it was. And then Meghan was like, that's right. We're going to get them on racism because, like I said, they wanted to leave from the very beginning. So, you know how when you tell a story and by the end of the person that hears the story is nothing like what it was when it was first said? I believe this was nothing that the royals did that was around race, because think about it. If they were racist towards this woman, they would have never allowed her to marry into this family. She would have never been given perks outside of being married to Harry, because Catherine was never given perks when she was engaged to William, but yet this woman got to come around for Christmas and meet the Queen, do all these things as a girlfriend. Okay. Meghan had a lot more privileges because they didn't want to appear racist, the royals. So I think this is why they really went above and beyond to show Meghan love and support. And that's how it wasn't about race when it came up in this conversation. And it all goes back to Meghan, in my opinion, and how she used this as something to fuel the narrative that she already knew was out there about Americans in general and the royal family. That's my opinion.
Well, and then things got interesting, right? Because as the racist claims came out, then Harry changed the tune and said it was unconscious bias. And even if you look that up, it's interesting. There's a lot of people who are mad at him because they're like, no, that is still right. Like even people who are his fans of his are like, no, there's no difference. What are you trying to do? What is your stance on this? Like, to me, it seems like example of he's trying to acknowledge, oh, right, I don't want to say they're racist, so let me try to say this. Is that how you saw it, of him sort of trying to change the story?
Yeah, I think he was trying to change the story. And then I think he also said, well, Meghan never brought up race or said anything about race, but she did, right? But
Yep.
did. So Harry was trying to change the narrative. I think he got a lot of backlash from his family about the racist claims, and then he wanted to, make it unconscious bias. And he himself is just, I think, if anything, he's shown himself to be someone who was racist. Have you heard the things that he said against those military that were from Pakistan, and the thing he was dressing up in a Nazi uniform, and the things that he has done? He keep it on yourself as learning, but I don't think you have the right to call anybody racist, because I think that's what they were trying to do during the Oprah interview, but he's trying to change it now because he got all this backlash during, from his family. And I think Meghan is still upset about that. She wants it to be about race. And I think Harry sees it's not really about race. So he's trying to change the word. And, we all have our biases. We all have things that, we need to learn from. That's why my channel all about, what can we learn? When you know better, you do better. But trying to change the narrative from what you started in the beginning is disingenuous, and it's hypocritical of you to try to now do something different that we know why you started this about race. And I think it was too hot to handle. The race issue was too hot for Harry to handle. So he wanted to backtrack it, and say, oh, it's unconscious bias. And no, we didn't say anything about race. Like, get out of here. It's so bad. Everything about what they are doing is so horrible for relations in general, for just getting along and helping us to be a community of people that are empowered by her marrying into the royal family. And now we don't have that. There's a lot of divisiveness around Meghan even being within the royal family now, because you have people that like her, that don't like her. She hasn't brought together. She's divided people, and that's going to come back to haunt her in her own career, what she's trying to do now in Hollywood. Because in one of my videos, I just spoke about, Hollywood is starting to see what kind of person Meghan is, because now they're having their own up close and personal experiences with her. Before, she was this woman who was marrying into the royal family in that foreign country, But now that she's in Hollywood and she's doing things to really not rub those in Hollywood the right way and not listening to those within her camp, there are some allegations that she may even be cut from her now with William Morris, and even the Netflix contract may even be in jeopardy. So they're starting to really see the kind of woman she is, because now they're working with her in a very close way. And a lot of Hollywood people are being told by their PR people, don't be seen with Meghan publicly. You cannot be seen as if you are working or in collaboration with her. Now, you can be friends with her behind the scenes with no cameras. Like, make sure you don't get this taken, where people can see evidence of it. But that was
right.
one of the things that was also going around. So it's just not going to end well. It didn't end well with this Oprah interview. It didn't go well for Harry in his book Spare. The royals are maintaining their silence and they're becoming more popular. William is right now in America. He had so many people come out to see him. When I came, William, at the Earthshot Prize Awards last year, the streets were filled with people wanting to see William and Catherine. And I think the more Harry and Meghan do, the more they're making the royals more popular and more accepted, because this is a family issue, like what Chris said in his special. We're going to all have problems with in-laws at some point, but why are you trying to capitalizing on the relationship of this very famous family to help yourself, and
Well
they
said.
can see she's just disingenuous with everything, and it's going to hurt her and her career. We already see it happening right now. So it's just like one drop everywhere with this one.
Yeah, just as we wrap it up, I don't see her dropping the race card anytime soon. She's going to keep playing it, because now she's 43% Nigerian, so she's leaning into that hard. And it's just interesting. Yeah, it's weird. It's crazy, but there it is. I appreciate you being here. If you want to hear more honest and good takes, make sure you go over to PDina over on YouTube. That's youtube.com/PDINA. Nice and easy to remember, guys. Go support her. Such a pleasure. I'd love to have you back anytime. Definitely be fun to have you on our lives with Steph. So please come back. Such a lovely pleasure to finally have you here. Guys, go subscribe to her. Go subscribe here as well. Hit that button. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash the thumbs up as well. And leave your comments down below. What was your least favorite moment of racial relations with Meghan Markle? I want to hear them down below, as I'm still getting informed in all this. Appreciate you, PDina, for being here. Stay tuned for more, guys, here on Popcorn Palace.
All right. Thank you, Andy.